Hi everybody, welcome to this week's vlog, and I'm trying to get these really short now, so please bear with me because a few of the criticisms I've had, not that I'm too bothered about criticism, is that they're a bit too long and they go on and on. Droning on might be a thing that we could call it. I know a thing or two about drones. So this week has been enormous, and last week, and let's talk a little bit about it, remembering that I'm going to try and cut these down to specific points. Firstly, I'm going to cover in reference to our investigator. Now, the investigator is having quite a lot of success. We have managed to get all the paperwork and casework pertaining to the case that the GTA brought against the GBGB, and we'll be hoping to use that in the near future once it's been gone through methodically, all the communications etc. in relation to that case between different parties at the GBGB and at the City of London Police. The investigator's also been looking into a few other things, not so much Pakistan, but he did do a little bit on Pakistan 2 weeks ago for us. And the other one is probably in relation more to dogs and putting dogs to sleep for economic reasons, which I'm sure a lot of you will know that I'm completely against. Now, let's talk a bit about that first. So, dogs being put down for economical purposes. Now, I can't see for any reason why a dog should be put down for economical reasons. Now, if the GBGB has brought in this GRS, Greyhound Retirement Scheme, they've got all these retirement homes etc. that they send dogs to, and we'll talk a little bit more about them in a minute. Why does a dog have to be put down for economical reasons? Because the trainers are forced now to own all their dogs, and they're getting dogs given to them by owners that don't want the dogs, etc, etc. And what happens is you've got these spare dogs in your kennel that, I remember, I'm not trying to harp on about this, they're a product for these bookie run tracks in the majority of cases. Too many dogs, the easy way out is to put that dog to sleep. Well, let's be honest, you should be ashamed of yourself. If you're putting a dog to sleep for economical reasons nowadays, in 2021, then it's a bloody disgrace, right? And you should be ashamed of yourself. Talking about dead dogs, and the incident at Crayford, which I'm sure Floyd Amplett will remember. Let's move on to Floyd. So, for me, Floyd Amplett, let's say, he's an ex-copper. He's worked in dogs a long time. Is he good for the game? I don't think so. Not at all. As a matter of fact, I would put him in the same sort of... nowadays, I would put him in the same sort of category as Corden. If you had to ask me to list a number of people that needed to be removed from anything to do with this sport, talking about this sport, or anything else, even though they started out with good intentions, probably, Floyd Amplett is one of them. So Floyd turns up this week on the Thursday video production that he does for YouTube, and he tries to justify the sale of dogs to Pakistan. Now, I think that's absolutely dog shit, mate, that you've done that. I'll be honest with you. That is the reason why, Floyd, you have got to stand down, mate, from doing this. I'm nobody to tell you to stand down, but for you to justify let me ask you this, Floyd. What do you think if you bred a dog, you reared that dog, right? That dog loved you, and you sold it, right? Or you didn't sell it. Would you ever put up with that dog going to Pakistan? I don't think you would, Floyd, because I know one thing. There isn't many breeders would want to know that the dog that they brought up and loved dearly had went to Pakistan. And that's the sort of passion, Floyd, that I don't think you understand is needed to take this sport forward the way it must be taken forward. And for you to think that it's acceptable for a dog to go to Pakistan, any dog, it's a fucking death sentence. Maybe for the odd one, it's not a death sentence. But I've done my research, and I've done my research well. And probably the best bit of, without the research, the best bit of advice I've ever had was from a woman who was the president of the English Bull Terrier Club. And she said to me, always judge a country's welfare of their dogs by their kennel club. And if you look at Pakistan, it's got 210 million of a population, maybe slightly larger than that. And they've got about 300-400 members of their kennel club. And I'm pretty sure in that kennel club, they don't show greyhounds. So, Floyd, the next thing I want to pull you up on is, you justify it by introducing this friend of yours from Pakistan. And his name was Naeem. I can't remember his second name. But anyway, affectionately known to you as Naz. And you'd be happy to send a dog with Naz at any time. And you've been caught out on that already, because old Naz has been sending a few dogs to Pakistan from what I've seen on the caged information that flashed up on Twitter yesterday. So, you saying that this is your mate Naz, that's like me saying, this is my mate Barney. Yeah? Barney bin Laden. And here is Adolf, another good friend of mine. And let's not forget Thanos. And we could all send a dog with these lot to take to wherever they're at, and let's see how it ends up, because they're my mates. I'm good friends with them. Floyd, what you have to understand is Pakistan is not like Britain. Not like Britain at all. And the animal welfare standards for a greyhound cannot be guaranteed. Now, let's not harp on about vets, because I've done a bit of research on the vets, and there is quite a few good vets in the cities. But these people, they patch up the dogs in most cases themselves. And do you think that that owner of that dog is really going to give a shit about that dog whenever it's lying there with a broken leg or a severe injury to any other part of its body? And that they're going to be lying on a sofa in a Pakistan house? That's not how it works in Pakistan, Floyd. Floyd, I'm going to give you a challenge now. If you want to keep any sort of dignity at all, or leave with any sort of dignity, because I don't think many people are going to support you from here on in, I'm going to give you the opportunity. I'm going to reach out a hand to you, Floyd. Yeah? A hand of peace. To save yourself. And what I'd say to you is, Floyd, I will pay for you, Dave Mitchell, Mark Wallace, and Rab McNair to go to Pakistan. A bit of a road trip. You know, like these road trips these celebrities go on around UK and, different countries, etc. I'm going to give you four the opportunity. And the reason why I'm going to give you this opportunity is, I want you to go over there and make a little mini documentary, do a couple of Zoom calls back to England, we'll get everybody to tune in that's in the greyhound world. They'll be excited to see what you find out. And I want you to go and see and tell the true story about greyhounds and what sort of life comes after their racing days in Pakistan. And see how many you can get lying on sofas and parts of large families, getting toys thrown out for it, a few bones, in the house of Pakistani houses, etc., etc. And then send us back some reports. And I'm going to pay for that for you, Floyd. Everything paid. You, Rab McNair, Wallace, and Dave Mitchell. I'm going to pay for it. And fuck it, let's send Nick Jade as well. I'll pay for Nick to go as well. Yeah? So 5 white English men going to Pakistan to find out about the life and times of retired greyhounds and racing greyhounds. Let's get a few videos of some races over there. I'm pretty sure, Floyd, you're gonna get some good stuff for us. So that challenge is open for you, Floyd. And if you want to come forward, right, just contact me. I'm easily contacted, info@foxfly.co.uk, or you can find my phone number, ring Foxfly, and you can get my number from that. So that's the challenge for you, Floyd. No more trying to cover things up. No more Thursday Zoom calls about welfare and your experiences, and different things with Mark Bird being the best since white sliced bread. Let's see some real reporting. Get yourself over there to Pakistan, mate, and see what we can get. And I'm paying for it all. It's on me, Floyd. We'll put you in a good hotel, and you and the boys can have a bit of a road trip. One last thing, Floyd. In your YouTube video, you said about racist tones being used. You tried to bring out the old race card. There's nothing racist about this, Floyd. This is about people's decency and about not sending dogs to Pakistan. Because we all know that they ain't going to get treated the way they do here, mate. So don't bring that card out. That card's for a different time, Floyd. Don't join all the wokies that bring this crap out about racism. This is not about racism. Don't try and deflect from your bullshit propaganda. It's not racism. This is about the dogs. And you know full well them dogs ain't going to be ending up in a good place. End of story. So if this dog is proven to be in Pakistan, then what happens to Mark Wallace and Rob McNair? Well, I think everybody would agree that they can no longer be allowed to continue in our sport, because this is obviously something that people feel very strongly about. And I believe that they would have to step down with immediate effect. And Nick Gill, he would have to be punished also. I don't know if Nick Gill knew about it, about what happened, etc. We don't know the full story yet. The GBGB's investigation, nobody's holding much water for that. Hopefully they'll get to the bottom of it. But if they don't, then they're just proving that they are what they are, which is no longer fit for purpose. And they should be stepping down anyway. That's what I believe. They should be stepping down now. But Mark, sending that dog over there, or knowing that dog was going over there, which I'm sure you probably did if the dog was getting sold to Pakistani connections that Rab or whoever knew about, then you got to look at yourself, mate, because you done the wrong thing. So we'll see what ends up, Mark, but beware, mate. This has turned everybody against you, and I don't think you're going to get off of this one if it's true. And at the minute, it's all alleged, so you got a bit of time until we find out. Yeah, I talked about a press release earlier in regard to Mark Bird's appointment as the managing director of the GBGB, and about how he was the right man for the job because he was in charge of some regulations or something to do with GBGB anyway. So he's been on the gravy train for a while now. And it said how he was going to be able to build on the foundations that had been laid by Barry Faulkner. Now, let me tell you about what I thought Barry would do. Whenever Barry Faulkner got in, I thought there would be a massive upheaval of the sport. And that's whenever I knew that the sport was being run by a corrupt body, as far as I was concerned. And like a communist regime. And Barry, the reason why I had high hopes for Barry, because I remembered him from the American racing. I remember many a debate and many a conversation that he had on TV, and he had such passion for it. And what I thought after, whenever he left, I thought to myself that Barry must have been in there with his hands tied, or he was just full of shit whenever he was talking all this crap on TV. So they talk about Mark's achievements. Well, I ain't seen anything, mate. I ain't seen anything that you've done for the sport. And I'm still waiting to see it now. And all that's happening is that the sport is going down and down and down. And you're not helping it at all. And it's run now in such a fashion that the end is so near I can almost touch it. So do everybody a favour and step down, mate. Walk out. Take all them board members with you and just leave the keys at the front door, and let some people with a bit more passion for the game, with a love of the sport and a genuine interest in the sport, let us go in there and sort it out. Because this is just going to end messy. It's going to end messy because people just can't put up with it anymore. And that's the truth. Just leave, man. Just leave the whole audience. Because you're no good for the sport. You're no good for what's happening and where people want to go. Please give us a chance to save the sport. Please. I want to talk about rumours that are coming out of Nottingham Stadium. Remember, these are rumours. An alleged incidents with the trainer Jill Llewellyn. It seems to be dominating a large thread now on social media, on that Greyhound Scene website, which I know isn't in everybody's cup of tea, but it seems to be full of a lot of people with passion for the sport. And is there anything else that brings anybody together in the sport, whether it be good or bad? There isn't, because the GBGB and their conduct this week, last week, not commenting on anything that's going on, is frankly incompetent. The GBGB need to come out and make a statement in regard to, firstly, Pakistan, and secondly, the Jill Llewellyn case. Now, these alleged rumours are saying that a number of dogs have died through Jill Llewellyn's use of a chemical on them dogs for a treatment of worms or fleas, or I'm not sure, and obviously these are alleged events, but also the fact that she has turned up with a dead dog to the vets at Nottingham, which again is alleged. But I'm sure any investigation by the GBGB would bring this out. But whether that is going to come to light because Mark Bird is married to Rachel Corden, I don't know. And let's ask the question as well, why is the GBGB funding Jill Llewellyn's legal case? Let's ask that question. Because who's that benefiting? Is that benefiting Rachel Corden's strength, kennel strength at Nottingham? You know, Jill Llewellyn, I don't know how many dogs she's got, 50, 60, 70, I don't know. Is that benefiting the GBGB? But more importantly, is that benefiting her sport? And the fact that you're willing to spend money that comes in on that, but you won't spend money on things that actually matter. So please, give us a statement. Let us know. Let the people of this sport, where these voluntary contributions come into, let them know why we should be paying for this legal case. Please tell us, because we're all interested to know. It's just getting worse and worse. The GBGB has to either step down or let somebody here come in and do the job properly. Let's have some action. Come on, Mark. Let's go for it. So one last thing then, before I go, bit of happy news. We don't want it to be all doom and gloom. I just got a phone call back today from Swindon Greyhound Stadium, which I'm very appreciative of, and a guy called Dave rung me back. And he has said that we can bring our dogs down to get marked up next Monday. Thanks very much to Dave, if he's listening to this, and thanks very much to Swindon Stadium.
We're racing with my granddad at Golthorpe, flapping track, and then I had my own dog. I mean, it is an absolute disgrace. I mean, bookmakers have milked the industry for too long now.
Exactly.